Welcome to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. My name is Amy and I'm from the channel Flip It Furniture. Today we're making over this jewelry box that I found for only $14 at the thrift store. It's in pretty good condition, no odors, it just needs a little color. I like to take all the hardware off of the jewelry armoires that I paint or the jewelry boxes. This way everything has really nice clean lines, and if I need to add any gilding wax, I can do that later. The fabric on the inside had just a couple little fuzzies on it. It wasn't actually dirty, so I just used a little bit of duct tape and removed it. Now to clean, I'm using Dixie Belle's White Lightning Cleaner. I decided I wanted to prime this piece, and that's because the surface is kind of shiny on here, so I'm using Dixie Belle's Bonding Boss in clear. I'm not too worried about tannins, stains, or odors on this piece, but I am kind of worried that the paint won't stick. So Bonding Boss is a really good way to make sure that my paint's going to adhere properly. I add 2 coats, waiting 4 hours in between the coats, and then I wait a whole 24 hours until I can apply my paint. I really love this product because it's a 2-in-1. It'll take care of the odors, the stains, the tannins, but also the adhesive stuff. Most importantly, I want to add that I used a clear primer on this because I don't want you to be able to see any white or gray underneath my paint, like on the front of the jewelry, on the front here. If I was to use white and you were going to pull out the drawers, you might be able to see that white primer, but with the clear, you can only see the wood, which actually looks really good with these colors. Now I used in the navy, which is a really dark navy blue, on the bottom base of the jewelry box, and then I'm using Antebellum blue on the rest of it. So I'm not doing any blending or anything like that, but these colors together are so beautiful, and I feel like they're really going to complement the furniture transfer that I'm using. Whenever I'm using a jewelry box, I like to use a smaller brush, and then I use little artist brush, and I didn't want to tape off the entire jewelry box because it takes forever. So I was very careful. I used an artist brush that had a pointed curve, and I was careful not to get it on any of the fabric. And notice that when I'm painting, I'm always spraying with my water mister, and that's so that I can reduce the brush strokes and so that it just moves that paint really well. A little bit goes a long way with just a little mist of water. There's no pulling on that paint. It just glides so gently and so beautifully. And here again, so you can see I didn't add any painter's tape. I'm just being so careful when I'm applying my paint, and I'm using that little tip on this artist brush. And just take your time. Usually like right here, I just sped it up because I know that you don't want to see me painting a little section for very long, but I'm really taking my time with it and just having fun painting. Now for the transfer. This transfer is one of my absolute favorites. The flowers are gorgeous. This is a mid-size transfer, and the way that they're arranged is so perfect for a jewelry box or a jewelry armoire, or maybe even a nightstand, a small table. I absolutely love this transfer. I love the reds and the oranges on top of the blue. It just makes it pop so much. It's a really, this right here is a very good color combination. I kind of wish I would have done it on a dresser. This transfer is called Autumn Morning. And And of course, as usual, I'll leave all the links for all the products in the description box down below. Now I want to do a little burnishing. You can see that there's a tiny little halo around the flowers, which is just part of the transfer. It helps it to stick, but you can make that disappear by just rubbing gently with a burnishing pad. Someone asked me if you could use sanding paper, and I don't recommend that because you don't want to rip your transfer. The sanding, maybe a sanding sponge would be a little bit better because it's much more gentle, but I really like the burnishing pad for it. Now we're using the Silkscreen Stencil. It's called Mandala, and I just love these patterns. And I love it for this kind of like boho fall vibe that we got going on here. So they stick like a sticker. So I'm taking my Silkscreen Stencil and I'm sticking it on. It's a continuous pattern, so once it dries, I can continue with the pattern on the other side. I'm using the Copper Patina paint. Now, a lot of people, I don't know, this is one of those products that are super underrated. They have copper, bronze, and iron, and it goes on so good. It's not very transparent. I mean, it goes on like paint. So one coat has pretty good coverage. I always do 2 coats when I'm painting on like a solid piece, but I'm not going to do 2 coats on the stencil, of course. It has perfect coverage. It's got that metallic shine, and I think it's gonna really complement, again, the copper will complement the blue and then the transfer, and it's gonna give it a little bit of glam shine. So I'm real excited about it. And I did paint over the top of the stencil, but just carefully I wipe it off with my finger. Of course, I'm sure a rag would have worked even better. Now I wanted to add just a little pop of, I don't know, something different color. So of course I'm using my all-time favorite Muscadine wine. Another one, I love it. I love this color. I use it all the time. It's really, really pretty. And it's a great fall color. And if you ever have a hard time opening your containers, just give it a little tap, put it upside down, give it a little tap, and then it'll open right up. Now, if I had to do this project over again, I think I would have added a little bit more muscadine wine, maybe on the sides, but that was all I added for that. Now I'm continuing with the patina paint and copper, and I'm gonna do all of the trim. So I'm using my artist brush for this, and I'm just being very careful not to get it on the top where in the navy is, but I am covering that bottom. And look at the coverage. I mean, this is a dark navy, and with just 1 coat, look how much coverage there is. I mean, of course I'm gonna add 2 coats because I just wanna make sure everything looks even and really nice. But for a metallic paint, it's really good. I even add the copper paint to the feet. This just pulls it all together. Now I'm adding gilding wax to all of the hardware, and that includes the hinges. This is Copper Gilding Wax, and it's not, I mean, it's gonna match really well, but it's not too matchy-matchy with the Copper Patina paint, so we have just a different element coming in for the hardware. It's a little bit brighter, I would say. And the last step in the makeover is to add a clear coat in satin. I just love a satin finish. I think it's really beautiful. It always brings out the colors in the paint. And you have to clear coat your chalk mineral paint because you want it seals it. So we've done all the prep work to make sure that this isn't going to chip and it will last for years to come. That last step being seal. So it's for me, it's like prime, paint, seal. And I do end up sealing over the Copper Patina paint. I don't think that you have to, but I did, and it didn't dull the finish at all. When I add my clear coat, I really like using my sprayer, but since this is such a small piece, I'm just going to use my brush and carefully apply it. I apply 2 coats, waiting 2 hours in between the coats. You remember what we had before? And here it is today. I love this color combination. I really wish that I had done this on a dresser, and I still could, maybe someday, but it's so pretty. The blues with the oranges and the reds. It's just so fall, so gorgeous, kind of boho feel. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.